Hi, everyone. I'm here in my workshop, so now virtually, you are here too, joining me through the YouTube channel. Behind me, you can see 7 speakers. These are all computer speakers. I wanted to buy a speaker for my computer that sounds relatively good, isn't too expensive, and over time, I've managed to accumulate this collection. Why? Well, because each one had some little thing, some minor detail that just didn't quite work out the way I hoped. For example, I expect a speaker to stay completely silent when my computer is quiet. No humming, no hissing sounds coming from it at all, not even the faintest background noise. Very few speakers could actually do this in my experience. I tried out several different ones to see how they performed. I'll show you exactly what I experienced, so you can get a better idea of what kind of speaker might be good for you and your needs. That's a Logitech speaker, which you can see on the left side of your screen. And over there on the other side is a Genius speaker. The speaker here, I think it's an HF500. That's kind of an odd one out. The other side has the same model, but I didn't bring it down now. I can't even pronounce the name of this one. It's something like Serial Lux, or a brand with a name like that. Now, moving over here, this is a Genius HF 2020 speaker. This is a smaller wooden Genius speaker, and those are two Trostas. The difference between the two is that one was sold as a digital speaker and the other wasn't. So let's take a look at what I've experienced with these speakers. My first observation is that all kinds of dust and dirt stick to them really easily, and it's very hard to clean them off. So there's a power button here. But even when it's turned off, it hums. And the hum doesn't come from the speaker itself, but from the power supply inside the subwoofer. There's a power supply in there, and that's what's humming. And because of this, through the bass reflex port here on the side, especially here, I can really hear the hum, which really bothers me. The volume isn't that bad, but it's constantly audible, and if the room is quiet, it's distracting for me. I managed to fix it. Now it doesn't hum anymore. It was very simple. I just took out its power supply and put in a different one. Not the original, a different kind. Let me show you the back as well. This is also a wooden box speaker. By the way, going back to the Logitech, this one, and this one, and this one too, all seem to be made of wood, based on their weight. They're covered with this black or grayish material, but basically they're made from some kind of pressed particle board. So back to the Genius speaker. It's a tiny speaker. If you look at it for scale, it's about the size of another subwoofer, basically a 22 centimeters, almost 23 centimeters tall. The Logitech subwoofer is roughly around 24 centimeters. It's an analog speaker system, meaning it doesn't have any digital inputs, just a jack input. If I don't ask too much volume from it, it sounds pretty nice, and I'm okay with the hissing noise as well. What's not good about it is that its pair has a control knob here, and they put such a strong blue LED in it that it could practically serve as a lightsaber in Star Wars. You really have to cover it up. It's a real music master, in the sense that it keeps playing music even when it doesn't get any input. It basically just hisses. In a quiet room, if there's some background noise, it does mask the hissing. Some modifications are needed here too, so it doesn't hiss. The modification is simple. Let me show you. I took out its power supply, threw it away, installed a USB socket, and here I brought in a power bank. Here I have a 10,000 milliamp hour power bank, and I'm going to try to attach it to the power bank with one hand. There we go, it worked. Basically, this power bank can run the speaker just fine for about a day and a half, so I can use it even if, for example, there's a power outage with a laptop. Right now, I'm actually using this speaker with my laptop. It's powered by the power bank, so it's not running off the internal power supply. It's really good. The sound quality is good, and there's no hissing or buzzing. Alright, let's check out the big gun. As you can see, this one's a bit taller. Let's measure it with the tape to see how tall it actually is. This is a Genius HF 2020 speaker. It's the oldest one I own, and as you can see, it's 41 centimeters tall. It's pretty big, and honestly, it looks really nice. It's made of wood, a type of pressed wood, not real solid planks, but it still looks great. This speaker has a digital input, which is why I chose and bought it. I did some research, and a lot of people complain that the electronics in this are really weak. Unfortunately, I wasn't spared from this fate either, because the electronics in the speaker broke down for me as well. So I had to attach this little gadget to the back. What's special about this is that originally, as you can see here, there's a digital coax input. Basically, you could use the digital output from your computer's motherboard as an input here. Unfortunately, this part is what broke. So I had to install a little box like this, which is a digital to analog converter. I tinkered with the box a bit and ran these two RCA cables in, connecting them to the input of the panel. Basically, this panel I'll show you in a moment. It's here in a bag, and here's the little box, which ended up on the back of the unit. On this side of the input, there's a toslink input and a coaxial input, and here you need to supply 5 volts. For the 5 volts, you get a little USB cable like this. The power cable, basically you just plug it into a USB port on the computer, and then it works happily. What I did was, instead of running it off the computer's 5 volts, I powered it from the internal power supply of the speaker. The computer's 5-volt USB is pretty noisy, and to prevent that from interfering with the digital to analog converter, I powered it from the speaker instead. This way, it sounds pretty good. Actually, it sounded even better before the digital input broke, but even so, if you take a closer look at all the speakers here, I'll talk about these in a moment as well. When it comes to overall sound quality, this one is definitely the best among them. Here's this mini Genius speaker, which falls into the bargain basement category, meaning it's really cheap. And there's a good reason for that. I'll show you what I mean. I actually broke its control unit. Basically, it only gets power through a USB connection, and you can connect it to the computer with a standard jack plug. There's a little box on the USB cable, and inside that little box is the volume control potentiometer. This is the amplifier. As you can see, it's a Class D amplifier. Well, let me put it this way. The hissing, humming, and all sorts of other noises basically come from this speaker by default. So I decided to throw out this electronics. And then I thought about getting a slightly better Class D amplifier. I think this is a TPA, I'm not even sure. Maybe a 1010, but I'll pick it out in a moment. I'll write it at the bottom of the video. This is also a Class D amplifier. It has an input, you need to give it a power supply, and then here are the 2 stereo outputs. This one also hisses. I mean, I get that it's small, it hisses quite a bit. This one's a bit bigger, it hisses less, but it's still not great. Texas Instruments makes the integrated circuit that's inside. I got this amplifier from an auction site. It's a typical Chinese amplifier. It has an aluminum case, and it has some weight to it. There's an analog amplifier inside, a TDA 7054 if I remember correctly. I took it apart and checked. When I hook this up, it's great. No hissing at all. It sounds nice and clear. So they could have made this one well too. But the problem here was that for this price, you just can't make a good amplifier. This amplifier is more expensive, of course, than the speaker. Something interesting. We'll step a bit outside the world of speakers for a moment and look at this. This is a very popular stereo amplifier housed in a plexiglass case. It's not in the cheap category, but it's not that expensive either, meaning that with the plexiglass case, it comes out to about 7,000 forints, and it has Bluetooth. On the left side, you can see the Bluetooth receiver and the antenna, and here you can see the stereo output stage. However, the Bluetooth connection isn't stable enough, so once or twice a day. It can happen that it disconnects itself, and you have to reconnect it. So the Bluetooth in this is lousy, but the amplifier itself is really good. And since we're talking about amplifiers, let me show you something else. In schools, they basically teach this system, which is the analog amplifier, where you connect an NPN and a PNP transistor together, and then you have the input, output, power supply, voltage, and with this, you can make a very simple little Class A or Class AB amplifier, a push-pull amplifier, and its sound quality is really beautiful, so it's very, very good. As simple as this amplifier is, it sounds that good. This is the classic story, right? Basically, electronics have evolved in such a way that if you look at this digital amplifier or this digital amplifier, you see, it costs money. There's material in it, and they made smaller versions of it. Because you can label it, say, as 5 watts, but it's the kind of 5 watts that sounds really nice. You can label this one as 5 watts too, and this one you can label as, say, 30 or 40 watts. So it's a pretty big value. People have gotten into the mindset that more watts is better. Well, it's not. More watts come with compromises. You can have more watts, but you have to pay for it. This is almost as good as the amp I'm showing you here, like this one. This too can be nicely built in with rotary knobs and so on. This is a 2+1 amplifier, meaning you can connect a pair of speakers and also hook up a subwoofer. If you look at these two trussed speakers, one of them broke down, and I'm going to build this one in. I bought some nice rotary knobs and so on. They'll go on the back. I bought this one first and then the second one. This one also sounded really good. No humming, no hissing. It sounded great until it broke down. I bought new electronics for it. It worked for a bit, then broke down again, and then it happened once more. When the electronics failed for the second time, I decided that the same electronics would probably have the same issues, so I'm going to take it out and replace it. That's when I bought this set of electronics, because it seems like in this speaker, they managed to get the bass right, and the satellite speakers too, more or less, but they didn't get the electronics right. This is a completely analog electronic system here, and if you take a look at the side, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So there's this kind of eco knob, which actually lets you switch the speaker into an energy-saving mode to help save power. You can adjust the bass, the volume, and you can also switch on the RCA input, and there are outputs for the two speakers as well. This thing has some real weight to it, so they really put it together quite well, with solid construction. The satellite speakers, those are made from this plastic stuff, which feels pretty sturdy in your hands. The sound that comes from the front of this is actually pretty good. Honestly, I'd say it's quite decent. There's no hissing and the electronics inside don't constantly break down, which I really appreciate, since I got tired of that. And before I decided to buy this amplifier for it, I actually bought this one at one of those large hypermarket type places. Let me move this speaker aside and show you. What's special about this one is that it came with a remote control, so you can use it at your leisure. It's got digital input here and here as well. On the side, it's like they just slapped a remote control onto the left side. You can't take it off, that's actually the control panel. And it also has an optical input. And it has that same echo mode as the other one. But the sound is terrible. There's just no enjoyment in it. If you're playing a game and there's some bang bang action, you need volume, it's fine for that. But there's no musical enjoyment. Of course, someone might say, this is a computer speaker. But I think that if this speaker, which is basically the same, I'm sure that if you measure them down to the millimeter, they'd be identical. They're made from the same thick wood, the speakers are the same. The difference is, I took it apart, and this one has a digital amplifier inside. A similar, well, I don't want to use a harsh word, a similar crappy amplifier as this one. The sounds have disappeared. 1 kilohertz plus or minus, in a range of a few kilohertz. So no, it doesn't have the full dynamics I expected, the kind you get from this one. This one eats up the electronics, so it keeps destroying itself. This one doesn't destroy itself, but it sounds wooden. It hisses, hums, and all sorts of other noises came out of it that I just couldn't tolerate. You see that big giant, the 2020 Genius? That one sounds really, really nice. It sounded, but it also eats up the electronics. Basically, it already ruined the digital input for me, which I really regret, by the way. It sounded significantly better when I used its original digital input, compared to now when I had to add one to the back as a replacement. It basically couldn't do what I expected from it either. All sorts of noises came out of it, from humming to hissing. What I do is, I have 2 of these power banks. How they managed to make a 10,000 milliamp hour one for just a few forints, but it works. So I have 2 of these power banks. I plug one in and use it for a day while the other one charges, and then I swap them. This little unit just shows the output voltage and the current, and it shows that it draws 330 to 340 milliamps, gets 5 volts, and there's no hissing. The amplifier in this is really good. The power supply is really good. So I keep swapping out the power banks, and that's how I use the speaker with my laptop. I've only had it for a few weeks. It's not, how should I put it? It's not going to blow my mind with its volume. The goal is just to have sound from the computer and to watch a couple of YouTube videos. And for that, it's fine. For me, it was a bit of a disappointment. Logitech is a good brand, and the salesperson was absolutely right when he said, if you want something good, buy a Logitech keyboard. You rarely have to change the batteries. It's great. You don't have to pair it. I bought it. It was expensive, but it's really very good. I've loved it ever since. It's a really good keyboard. But this speaker, it costs more than 20,000 forints. And for 20,000 forints, I expected it to have some real sound. Unfortunately, the power supply inside took away from the enjoyment value. So this is what my speaker arsenal looks like right now. I'm not saying I didn't start to go a bit overboard with things. Honestly, I bought way too many speakers. But I think I learned a lot from it all. For example, one thing I noticed is that the electronics in these speakers, how should I put it? To put it mildly, are very much reminiscent of the 1980s. The 80s wouldn't be a problem because there's a Sony amplifier right here, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Here's my little Sony tower system, and on the very top of this tower, there's an amplifier. Right below that, you can see there's an equalizer, then a radio tuner, and finally at the bottom, there's a CD player. Yes. And now I'll go ahead and turn it on for a moment so you can see how it works. This is actually a really old piece of audio equipment, something that's been around for quite a while. I'll turn it off now, switch it off, just so I don't have to pay anything extra because of some copyright issue or potential copyright claim that could arise. The point is, these are old pieces of equipment, but they're still put together so well that, let me tell you, they sound flawless even today. I think with these, they try to save a little everywhere, sometimes a bit more than they should have. I don't think they saved a ton with it. I don't think the product would have been much cheaper because of it. Of course, I should add, this hackwood was really expensive. So for this amount of money, this is what you get. You just have to accept it. This is a consumer society. This is what we live off of, and this is what we get in stores. I'm really glad you watched my video, and please don't be sad. Go buy yourself some nice, high-quality speakers and enjoy them to the fullest. I'm sure you'll find something really good that's just perfect for you. I'm just a bit, how should I say, somewhat fanatical in the sense that if the room is quiet, the speaker should be quiet too. And if a speaker can't do that, I like to tweak it a bit for my own personal enjoyment and satisfaction. And then I use it for my own enjoyment. Just the way I like it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hello, hello.